Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. If you're just tuning in, this is a liberty-loving channel. This is where freedom-loving people from America and around the world meet. If you're just tuning in to our community, hope you'll join. Hit the subscribe button. So I wish somebody could make this dream end, that we're in a nightmare and we just need to wake up from this alternate reality where evil abounds, America has fallen to communist, and the world is turning dark. But unfortunately, this is the reality we are in. So I got some stuff to share. Started this morning, actually. Pull this up really quick. Matt Maddock is in the House. He's a House member here in Michigan. His wife's Michonne, co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party. I got a text last night after I went to sleep. He said at 9 a.m. I will, and this is in Michigan, I will be voting no, N-O, on a bill to give China, CCP, $175 million cash to build a battery plant here in Michigan. They're going to build it here, whether or not they get hundreds of millions of dollars in tax dollars. See what he's saying? We don't need to vote for this. They're going to build it anyways. Rebates from hardworking Michigan families. I think it's absolutely wrong to give these immoral commies our tax dollars. I would encourage my Republican colleagues to vote no also. And Matt is on the Appropriations Committee. So guess what they did to Matt this morning? Republicans booted him. Broomed them off the Appropriations Committee and voted, because they're embedded with the CCP, to give hundreds of millions of dollars of Michigan taxpayer dollars. And I see, if I have it here, Michonne posted on, and this is Brandon Hall, a reporter down in mid-Michigan. State Rep Matt Maddock has been thrown out of appropriations by Speaker Jason Wentworth for speaking out and voting against a nearly $1 billion taxpayer-funded handout to the CCP loaded with cash and tax breaks from the state of Michigan to the Chinese Communist Party. And Michonne Maddock, I think it was on Facebook, Renee shared it with me, this is Matt's wife. Rhinos are busy right now trying to pass appropriations bills that even the Democrats wouldn't waste taxpayer money on when they want to bail out communists. Rhinos know to kick America First patriots like Matt Maddock out of the caucus. He was removed tonight. So Michigan is a shit show. And look at, boy, I'm reading Alex Jones's book, The Great Reset, War for the World. It's incredibly well researched. He talks about the Trilateral Commission. I mean, I'm learning so much, but it's all coming to a head, folks. This country is under siege. It is owned by corporations. The politicians no longer work for us. I mean, look what they just did here in Michigan that I just told you about. Giving the CCP money for a plant they were going to build anyways. And they're owned. Our country is rotted from the bottom to the top. Local, state, and federal government, the judiciary, law enforcement, everything. Although most law enforcement officers, I think, are good, but the corruption is everywhere. And we're at war, folks, and you need to wrap your head around that. Another thing, well, we'll get into this. I want to share something from Charlie Kirk. So let's dive in, okay? I won't spend a lot of news on this. So I've said from the start, as the communist state comes to power, the totalitarians have to remove our guns, okay? We're very unique in the world that we have a First Amendment and a Second Amendment. And they want to, they're doing the work around with big tech. Alex Jones's book is so great, folks. I highly recommend it. I'll give you my review when I finish reading it. Finally found lighting in our living room for reading's not great. And I've always wanted one of these lights that goes behind the recliner, you know, that kind of comes over and, you know, shines right down on the print when you're reading. And we were at Menards yesterday, and they had exactly what I was looking for 24 bucks. So I've got this awesome comfy recliner with good lighting, and I'm really I've upped my reading game. But I'll share a review of that book. But I'm totally into it. And what's going on in this government. Alex Jones is just showing where the world wants to take us. And you know, Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, I read it a year ago for the first time. I think it's about a year ago. Good book. I liked 1984 by Orwell better, but Aldous Huxley's book, Brave New World, is the world they want to build. There is no government. It's the elites, you know, the PhDs and the doctors and the scientists that run this dystopian society. They're at the top, and everybody else does what they tell them to until they don't need them, and they just get rid of them. So I knew they're going to come for the guns. They're doing it here in Michigan. I had the bill laying around here somewhere. They're coming after assault rifles. Is this it? It is. This is going to pass, folks. The Democrats, first time in 40 years, they took over everything in Michigan. And why did that happen? Why did the Republicans not fund our candidates so we would have a red tsunami? Because they see Donald Trump and the America First Trump-endorsed candidates as a threat to their cabal, their money and power. They are much happier to let Democrats win and keep that seditious power structure intact, see, rather than allow American First Patriots to come in and bring some accountability and to end this selling out of America. So it all makes sense now. But so just, I won't read this whole bill because I did the other day. Let's see if I can find the first part of it. Hang on, folks. I got it pulled up on my phone. I'll be right back. Okay, it's House Bill 6544 if you want to look it up, okay? By Represent Communist, I would call my opinion, this Peppers, Rep. Peppers. A bill to ban the manufacture, possession, purchase, and sale of assault weapons, to provide certain powers and duties for certain state and local officials and agencies, to provide for promulgation of rules, and to provide penalties. The people of the state of Michigan enact Section 1, let's just read. Assault weapon means a semi-automatic rifle that has the ability to accept a detachable magazine, has one or more of the following characteristics, blah, blah, blah. You know, it gets down to except otherwise provided in this section, beginning January 1st, 2024, a person shall not manufacture, possess, purchase, or sell an assault weapon in the state of Michigan. And so the people that already have AR-15s, like yours truly here, SKSs and other guns, they're going to let you keep them because they're just nice because you already own them. But you have to go register them, or you're committing a felony, which can get you 5 years in state or federal prison, and then re-register every 5 years. And we know that registration leads to confiscation. And what it's going to do, it's going to turn a lot of them, hopefully this will be found as unconstitutional and never go into effect, but who knows? It will turn a lot of Michigan law-abiding citizens into felons because they're not going to register their guns, many of them. But this is what they do, and I don't know what the, you know, I called him a communist. To be honest, I don't know this guy, Rep. Peppers, but he's a member of the Democratic Party, so, you know, birds of a feather. But, you know, if they're coming after a gun, they're no friend of mine. So that's that. So now Joe Biden renews call for assault weapons ban. So they're coming for him in the communist state of Michigan, and the regime, the communist regime that seized power in D.C. is going to come after everybody's guns. We're living the nightmare. What can I say? I won't get into that a lot. You get the picture. Call to action. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser refuses to allow January 6 political prisoners visitation, even computer visitation, after 2 years in D.C. gulag. So think of what this evil, and I'm just going to call her an evil bitch, a communist, four-letter word that starts with a C, which is very derogatory, but I'm sorry, she deserves it. So she's not going to let the family and loved ones of these political detainees that have did nothing wrong, that are being held in the D.C. gulag, to even visit with their family via the internet. J6 political prisoners detained in the Washington, D.C. jail are calling on patriots to demand that D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser allow them visitation, even computer visitations with their family. Bowser has revoked visitation privileges throughout the pandemic, including remote online visitation from unvaccinated inmates. So they're saying if you don't get the Satan serum, you can't see or talk to your loved ones. Isn't she just a sweetie? So if you want to give her a what for, I believe, I saw it here, the link, here is the link to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office. And that phone number is, folks, 202-727-2643, 202-727-2643. And give her a what for. Just unbelievable what's happening in this country. But, the communists had taken over, and they're working on the concentration camps, I'm sure. So this is another story with January 6 detainees. Your stuff with Gateway Pundit has to stop. January 6 political prisoner Ryan Sampson warned by authorities. FBI prison staff outrage. Gateway Pundit is telling the horrific stories of January 6 prisoner abuses, which we're documenting because we're going to come after these guards. Everybody involved in this horrific abuse of power and violating these American patriots' constitutional rights and brutalizing them. We're coming after them. And Ryan Sampson has been giving us the intel, and they're pissed about it, right? So on Wednesday, U.S. political prisoner Ryan Sampson called the Gateway Pundit to tell them he has lost his phone privileges for 6 months starting tomorrow. The prison staff is outraged that the Gateway Pundit has exposed his horribly abusive story to the American public. Ryan, who has not even had his case tried in court. What happened to your constitutional right to a speedy trial, right? See what they're doing here, folks? Has sat in prison for nearly 2 years, has been beaten, hogtied, abused, tied to a chair for 12 hours, and denied medical treatments for his injuries and his pancreas growth. On March 21st, 2021, after his arrest, Ryan was awakened by correction officers and his hands were zip-tied. Then they walked him to an unoccupied cell where he was brutally beaten by the officers. Ryan Sampson lost an eye in the beating. His face was smashed. The next day, the guards beat him again. Ryan was beaten so badly by the guards that he lost permanent vision in one eye and partial use of his arm. So, folks, this sounds like an American that got captured in North Korea, or an America that got captured by the communist Vietnamese during the Vietnam War, right? This is America. And their sin, they showed up to peacefully protest and exercise their First Amendment rights to petition the government with a redress of grievances. But the communists, the regime, they have to put their jackboot to this. And anybody that questions the legitimacy of this regime. So, and I'm going to tell you, other than Marjorie Taylor Greene, Louis Gohmert, Matt Gaetz, I don't know anybody that's tried to help these people. All those feckless Republicans in Washington are just part of the uniparty cabal, and they worked just as much against our America First candidates as everybody. Ron Johnson, there's some good ones, A few, okay, but not many. So that's that. Horrific. Nigeria limits ATM withdrawals to pay attention here, folks. Nigeria limits ATM withdrawals to $45 per day to force government-controlled digital payments, okay? They want people they're like Fed coin, if you will, electronic Fed coin. They're going to outlaw all other cryptos. That's what's going to happen here in America. They're going to outlaw cash, and you're going to deal with a digital Fed currency where they can track every freaking dollar you have, take it, like bing, freeze your accounts, and tie it to the ESG score and make you a good little zombified robot that does what the regime wants you to do. So that's where it's going. And that's why I bought some gold backs. I bought several denominations like in a kit. When I get them, I will show them to you. We'll do a video. I know people are getting them. It's going to be a great way to get around the ESG and to be able to trade with one another with a currency that the government doesn't have their big brother eyes and ears and whatever locked on to. You know, there was the attack in North Carolina of some transformer stations. 40,000 people, I think, still without power. But it didn't happen just there, okay? I'm going to get to that. Actually, I'll jump over to it. Portland, Oregon, after authorities said someone intentionally shot and damaged 2 power stations in North Carolina, cutting electricity to tens of thousands of families. News Nation obtained a federal memo warning about similar attacks in the Pacific Northwest. Power companies in Oregon and Washington have reported physical attacks on substations using hand tools, arson, firearms, and metal chains, possibly in response to an online call for attacks on critical infrastructure. So it was an organized attack, and it was, it appears, you know, going on in not just North Carolina. So, and then over here, TC Energy declares force majeure after Keystone oil spill. Part of the Keystone pipeline, I think this is the XL pipeline, a different one. Let me find it here. The TC Energy Corp declared force majeure on its Keystone oil pipeline system after an oil spill into a Kansas creek forced the company to shut the line, according to people familiar with the matter. This was from 5 hours ago, a little longer than that now. West Texas Intermediate Oil Futures, wait, where's the part where it was broke? The massive crude pipeline, which can carry more than 600,000 barrels of oil from Canada to U.S. markets, was shuttered Wednesday night. The spill, I thought I had where it was, where the line ruptured at. I thought it was Kansas that the line went down. So hopefully they'll get that up and running. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with this. So that's that. All right. Moving on, folks. Illinois signs its own death warrant starting in January. New Governor Pritzker signed law takes effect. Total mayhem follows. The land of Lincoln, the state of Illinois, has signed its own death warrant. This will be the end of the state. Crime under the Biden administration is at record highs. In major U.S. city, crime is skyrocketing. Chicago is one of the first. The great American city is a disaster. So, Chicago crazy Mayor Lori Lightfoot blames the record surge on the retailers in the city. She is an absolute idiot. Violent crime is up 30-year highs, and this is her response. She's soft on crime. I mean, it's murder. It's like a war zone in Chicago, and they have, like, in some of the strictest anti-gun laws, and everybody's getting shot. Imagine that. Someone tell Nutty Lightfoot that it's not only retail store, that it's not the retail stores, it never was. This is like telling a rape victim that it's her fault because she wore a dress. It's really sick and disgusting. The Democrats don't really have an answer to combating growing crime. They don't care about American suffering. That's true. There's no way they could successfully address this issue with the insane policies they promote. This is evident with what is coming to Illinois next year. The Democrat billionaire running the state, Pritzker, signed a bill that takes effect in 2023. The bill will totally destroy the state. I think this is the Safety Act, folks, right there. Just weeks before the hugely controversial Safety Act goes into effect. And basically, you can commit a crime and walk free. That's what's going to happen. You'll get like immediate bail. So that's what that's about. Woke versus woke. Over 1,000 New York Times employees go on strike. I think this is hilarious. Dems say don't cross the digital picket lines. The liberal media is eating itself. Over 1,100 New York Times employees are going to strike on Thursday. The strike is set to last about 24 hours. Big whoop. But anyways, I find it funny that these people want more money. Maybe they figure, hey, we've got all the dirt. You know, we're pushing the Orwellian lies for the regime. And if they want us to keep pushing it, they need to pay us to push the stories and keep our mouths shut. I don't know. But that's what's going on over there. CEO Meredith Kopet Levine said in a memo that it was disappointing that they're taking such drastic action. She said that the Times has offered journalists substantial pay increases, market-leading benefits, and flexible working conditions. But to the communist, it's never enough. Biden follows in Obama's footsteps. This is more terrible news of selling out America. Biden follows in Obama's footsteps, trades pot-smoking basketball player, alleged trans person, for top international arms dealer Victor Bout, who stole $32 billion from Ukraine. Remember, always the elites hate you and always will hate you. Joe Biden on Thursday announced he traded the world's most wanted fugitive, Russian Victor Bout, for pot-smoking, anti-American baller Brittany Griner, who hates America, and left an American Marine there that's been there for years. And there's more to this story. Listen to this, folks. Not only was it a terrible trade, okay? Breaking, Saudi Arabia and UAE announced they brokered Griner's release in joint statement. And this is this part I wanted to read from Charlie Kirk. I think I have it right here. This is just so disgusting. So, listen to this. Wow. The Saudis helped broker the prisoner swap of Brittany Griner for Victor Bout only after the White House ended its lawsuit against Mohammed bin Salman for murdering Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi. Will the MSN still shower praise on Biden's amazing deal? So they gave up two bad people for one woke, pot-smoking, hate America person. I mean, this is something Obama would do. So they ended their lawsuit against this person. So country's in bad position. So that's that. And then this Jim here. Sick Mattel's American Girl publishes book pushing puberty blockers, gender transitioning to 3 to 12-year-olds. Isn't that a nice, there's your school. There's your woke education system, folks. That's why you got to homeschool your kids. The American Girl brand released a book titled A Smart Girl's Guide, Body Image. The book pushes gender transition on kids aged 3 to 12. And the book is in the book is advice to kids on how to change their gender, including discussing puberty blockers and providing a list of organizations for kids if they don't have an adult they trust. And that's getting into brains to 3 to 12-year-olds, like they know how the world's going to work and who they want to be as a person at that age. But the regime will tell them. So did I miss anything? Don't know how I missed that. Article. I don't know. I had an article pulled up on where that pipe ruptured, and I just wondered if that was a terrorist attack. I think it was in Nebraska or something. And it was sending this stuff to California. So sorry about that, folks. So I just posted a video before this. It's like a short video, 10, 12 minutes, on all the stores announcing their closures next year. Retail is just failing miserably in this Michigan. It's the list is over 100 chain stores long, and they're shutting hundreds and hundreds of stores, thousands all told, across America. Massive layoffs. Commercial buildings that were leased are going to find out their tenant is gone, and the landlords are going to be, they got payments to make. It'll cascade into the abyss, and it's just going to get worse. I just can't, preach enough to prep and get ready for what's coming. Get your financial house in order as quick as you can. Pay stuff off, whatever you can, and stock up. Have some cash, reserve in the tank, and be ready for what's coming, because it's going to come quick, folks. It is going to come quick, in my opinion. So we'll this thing with that went on in Lansing just really pisses me off. I mean, we're just the state of the world we're in, isn't it? I'm just going to see if anything else got popped up while we're chatting here. I see Kanakoa the Great. He's being censored at Twitter. Twitter ain't come around as the free speech platform that Elon Musk is. Maybe it will at some point, but it isn't happening yet. So that's that. This country's falling apart. Normally the way we fix our republic when it gets some bad leadership is we vote them out, right? How's that working, folks? And when the system, when our government has been corrupted and that doesn't work anymore, what are our options? Okay? I say hunker down for the storm that's coming. Before there's any kind of major resistance, it's just going to have to get a lot worse. So a lot more people feel what, the uneducated masses that are out there that just aren't paying attention, right? That need to be red-pilled. They need to feel the heat of this administration and what the communists are going to do to this country. And once they start World War III and their sons and daughters are getting drafted never to be seen again, their federal government's beating on the door trying to get their guns, and they're getting evicted from their homes, maybe they'll wake up and say, holy frickin' crap, turns out those radical, right-wing, America First patriots were right about everything, and we're losing our country, and what the hell was I thinking? Until we get to that point, we're just not going to have enough resistance to rise up. And since January 6th, let's be honest, people are scared to go out and protest anymore. They'll end up in a prison with their eyes, blinded and beat and tied, hog-tied. And you just can't be scared by this government, folks. The tyranny that our founders were under was way worse. And they stood up and risked everything. And many of them gave everything during the founding of this nation. Before I see if I can share something with you really quick here, if I can pull it up. The market, just so you know, the Dow's up Let's see. Oh, it's failing. It's well, it was up way more. It's only up 67 now. I kind of watched the Dow. The Dow's up 0.22, the S&P 0.50, and the NASDAQ 0.88. Gold and silver is doing really well. Really happy with the gold and silver investment I made years ago, and I think I will buy more as our currency continues to be ate away by inflation, and the Fed gets ready to roll out their Fed coin. So hang on, folks. I'm just about here. I think I wrote this down somewhere. Here we go. So here's the Revolutionary War quote of the day, right? I like to put a little history in my videos. I am worried to death all day with a variety of perplexing circumstances. Disturbed at the conflict of the militia, whose behavior and want of discipline has done great injury to the other troops, who never had officers except in a few instances, worth the bread they eat. George Washington, in a letter to his nephew on September 30th, 1776. But they ended up training the militias, and they ended up being a potent force. I mean, if you watch The Patriot, they were guerrilla fighters. They knew the land. They'd hit and run and wreaked havoc with the redcoats. And Washington came to love them over time. But at first, they were just so unorganized, and he was just having a little bit of a control issue with people like myself that have a problem with authority. But it ended up, the militia really won the war and joined Washington's ranks. And during the winter of Valley Forge is when a lot of training went on by, I can't think of his name. It wasn't from America. That helped train our troops. So that's it. God bless everybody. Just keep hanging on. I'm just telling you, we're going to go into a storm, and it's going to be bad in every way imaginable. We've got to take this country back, and we've got to restore a moral and a virtuous people. Okay? Trying to tell 3 to 12-year-olds or whatever, you can be a boy or a girl. Here's how you do puberty blockers. This is how you transgender. That is evil, and that's going to bring the judgment of God on this land, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? He let Lot's family escape, but pretty much everybody got cooked. That's it. I will see you in the next video, probably tomorrow, unless there's some major breaking news today. I will, when I get the gold backs, I'll do a video on those, because I'm really curious about them. Because the problem with gold is, it's expensive. What if I want to buy something from you for $20? Well, I'm not going to give you a 2,000 ounce of gold. I mean, how are we going to do the deal? But these gold backs, we can do it with, because it's a sliver. A bill, I think their smallest denominations, 1/1000th of an ounce. And they figured out a process to make it into a gold bill. So they're really awesome. Somebody had a great idea, seen a problem, and American innovation, and figured out a workaround. So I think these gold backs are going to be big as we go into the apocalypse. But our country is definitely turning dark and dystopian. Our government, we're losing our rights left and right. The corporations and the tech empires are figured, not constitutional, but they're doing it. They figured out a workaround to get around our government and trample on our rights. And they're in bed with this regime. Don't kid yourselves. A lot of what Alex Jones' book is about is technocracy, and how they these scientists believe they can be God. He says at one point, They're all missing a hole in their heart where God used to be. They don't believe in God. They are evil people. They think they will become gods, and they want to take over the world. And if they decide that for the good of the planet, 2/3 of the humanity needs to be wiped out, they don't care, folks. Seriously, life, anybody's life but theirs, matters. It doesn't matter, I should say. So that's it. Like to give you some really good and warm, wonderful news, but I just don't have it. And I don't see it in the future at the end of the tunnel. We just got to keep red pilling more people and waking up more Americans. Because right now there's no reason in the world for this country to be 50-50 split. How do you vote for these evil frickin' Democrats? Well, if you were brainwashed in the school system, you don't think America's noble and you don't believe in God. Government is your God. And you believe in science is going to build utopia. So, they brainwashed a certain amount, but there's still a lot of older Democrats that didn't go through the indoctrination that I just don't know why they're voting Democrat. I mean, the Democrats have never been on the side of civil rights. You look at all the civil rights bills that passed; they're all passed by Republicans. So I don't get it. But maybe when the satanic evil policies of the Democrats come and bite them in the ass, maybe they will have an epiphany and say, you know what? I think that Republican side, I'll jump over there. And if we can take this country from a 50-50 split to a 60-40 or a 70-30, there's no amount of cheating they can overcome. And we get people to the polls. But now that we went from people being educated and voting to who can show up and get people to, to just that we changed it from voting to ballots, and it's who can, get the most ballots is the winner. Ballot harvesting. It's just a mockery of our whole system, and I don't know. It's very possible we are. If you want to put us on and Bannon said this a while ago, I'll give him credit for it. If you want to know where America is historically, we are compared to the Roman Empire. We are at the last days of the Roman Empire. That's where we are, and we are failing right now. I mean, we're not fixing it. We're failing. So can we turn it around and stop that history from playing out and turn this country back toward the light and goodness and restore individual rights and freedom in the America we know and love? Maybe. Hope so. I pray a lot because I think just like in the founding of this country to defeat the greatest fighting force in the history of the world with a undernourished, under-equipped military was divine intervention. I believe that to this day. We need it again. Right now, to overcome this darkness, we need God's help. And I don't think we win without it. I mean, 99% of this is spiritual warfare. Okay, I did it again. I say I'm going to leave and I keep rambling. That's it. See you. Bye.